I woke up this morning, I'm feeling super overwhelmed. I don't want to keep living this way. I just don't. So I'm speaking to myself in the mirror and I'm gonna get my together. And then I'm gonna go out there and have a productive day. I'm gonna go out there and maximize the hours that I have and stop complaining. Stop complaining about everything that isn't working and just focus. Focus on the things that are working. I've got this. You've got this. Let's do this. Honestly, we all have that voice at the back of our mind that's always trying to tell us that we aren't doing enough. We need to do more. We need to keep going, push harder. There's always a fire on the mountain. But you know what? Today I'm not doing that. No. I'm gonna get out of my head and I'm gonna focus on just living and being present and getting work done and being productive. I've been using my brushes for a long time now, my makeup brushes, and I recently realized that they're so dirty. Okay, it's not gonna be shocking if I end up with like some massive pimple unless I do something about it. And a lot of us are walking around with the consequences of our own actions, or we're about to be, unless we do something different. So, friend, I don't know about you, but I'm not living like this anymore, okay? I'm about to stand up. I'm gonna go do the work. Watch me do it. You don't believe me? Watch me. Does anyone else have this chair where you just put all the clothes that you don't even know where you're supposed to put them? And then all of these like cups that are just left on the nightstand from yesterday, the day before that, and you just keep avoiding them. That's just where I was for the longest time and how I was feeling. And now I'm gonna try and just like gather myself and I'm gonna try and organize my thoughts so that I don't feel so overwhelmed. And a huge part of that is just starting with the most difficult things first. And for me, that is like washing my brushes, just because there are so many of them. And it's something that you have to do manually, right? Like you gotta stand there and like scrub each one of them. I did some research on the best way to actually wash these brushes, and I thought, why not start with a bar of soap? There was a soap that I saw people using, but I didn't really check the name and I wanted to try and use what I had at home. But you can see here that it doesn't really work, like it's still dirty. So I'm actually just gonna make a switch and I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna try the Ultra Gentle Daily Cleanser from Neutrogena. The reason why I wanted to use this one is that whenever I have makeup on and I want to take it off and I use this facial cleanser, it just works so well and my skin doesn't break up, which is something that used to happen in the past. Because I think that my skin really needs that gentle cleanser that is really gonna take off all of the makeup, but also just do it in a very gentle way. Because it's been so successful with my face, I thought it's the same makeup on these brushes, let's try it out. And honestly, it worked really, really well. I'm also using this scrubbing mat or scrubbing pad. I'm gonna find the actual name for it and also link it in the description. But it's really been a game changer. I have another tool that I use to wash my brushes where you kind of like spin it. But to be honest, I think this one works more because it does give you that flexibility to actually like use your hand and scrub it and scrub it. And if you're anything like me, a little bit of a control freak, then you do know that, when you feel like you have control over how clean it's gonna be, it actually brings some joy to the task because you're like, okay, I can really get in there and clean every single bit of makeup, foundation, concealer, you know, eye makeup, everything off of these brushes. Even though I've been doing a lot of these brushes and you can actually see how they're actually getting really, really clean, this one is going to be a bit of a challenger. You see, this brush is my foundation brush, and one thing that I really love about it is the way that it packs on the product and the way that it gives your face that flawless finish, because you're able to really use it in circular motion, and it just really, allows the makeup to melt into your skin. And on the other side, when it's time to wash it, it has so much product inside it. It's such a dense kabuki brush, and you actually have to be ready to do at least 3 to 4 washes. So here I am on my second take, and it's already getting cleaner than I would expect. A huge thing here is that even after the second wash, when you look on the inside, because of how dense this brush is, you're going to realize that there is still makeup on the inside, like if you were to spread it apart. And we want to make sure that we are getting that as well, because like I said, as a perfectionist or a control freak, whichever one you want to go with, it's just super important that if I'm going to do something, I might as well do it well. So you're just going to go ahead and scrub it again and rinse it, and eventually it's going to be so clean. Wow, that is so clean. It's so clean. It looks good. I mean, you're squeezing the water out and it's white. No dirt, no foundation. Now I'm going to move on to the blenders. I want to soak them a little bit while I complete the rest of the brushes so that they also have a chance to, just be easier. Like if you soak it for a little bit with the same face wash and some water, and then just like make sure that you're turning it as much as possible, then it can really just break up some of that foundation and makeup product so that when it's time for you to wash it, it's not so much of a burden. So at this point, I'm just ready to wash the blenders. So we have soaked them for a minute. Are they called blenders or sponges? But whatever you call them, I also have in some powder puffs in there, the black ones. And I'm just gonna turn on the tap. Now here's where everything goes wrong. Okay, so my mistake was I searched how to wash these and I saw that you should use your hand and just roll them. And I was like, that sounds silly. And I'm a genius. So I'm gonna try a new thing that no one else has ever thought of. So I'm gonna use my scrubbing pad and I'm just gonna like scrub the powder puffs and the blenders on there. And this is how I'm gonna wash it. And let me just tell you now, it was a bad idea. Like it started to break the material of the powder puff or the sponge, whatever you call them. And I was so sad because these beautiful, amazing, perfect sponges make me so happy. Like the yellow one, I just really love the color. It reminds me of sunshine. And this teal colored one as well. It's so beautiful. It's so perfect. And that's how I always wanted to keep it. I don't know why I decided to try something new, especially because there was nothing on the internet about this method. But I thought, you know what? It's because people haven't thought about it. Let me be inventive. Let me do something outside of the box. Well, in this case, that was a bad idea. Just to give you guys like the full rundown and spill the full tea, at the end of the day, I went back to scrubbing with your hand, and that's what actually worked for me. It wasn't perfect because at this point I'm so tired and I'm so hungry. Like I just want to eat my food, have some dinner, spend time with my husband, and I'm out here like scrubbing so many sponges. So what I ended up doing is yes, scrubbing it, but I did not have enough patience to just scrub and scrub and scrub until there was no single spot of makeup left. That did not happen. There was a little bit of stain left, and I just said, you know what? Done is better than perfect, and that's a word. That's that's a whole word right there. And now that we're done, I can finally go and make some food for me and my husband and just enjoy the rest of the evening. One thing that I've learned about productivity is that instead of waiting for the motivation, just do it. I mean, you all saw me fail twice. At the end, I had to like dare myself to stand up and get the work done. But honestly, on some days it's gonna be harder to push yourself, but on many days you can completely push yourself and just try and do one more thing. Just one more thing. I always say, if I can just do this one thing, I'll call it a successful day. If I can just get this one thing done, if I can just achieve this one thing, if I can just cross off this one thing. So sometimes it's just one thing that you need to focus on. And for me, that was cleaning those brushes. And because I'm hungry, I'm also gonna add cooking. And after that, I'm just gonna call it a night. At this point, this onions has started showing me pepper. Oh my gosh, like the tears are rolling down my eyes. I'm really struggling here, but really love comfort food. And for me, comfort food without onions, where I haven't seen it. Like onions just brings that flavor and takes it up a notch. So I always include it. Recently, I've been feeling so overwhelmed, so I just decided to use a planner to try and organize my thoughts and to just try and prep myself for the things that I have to do and to also just prioritize the things that I wanted to get done this weekend because the weekend seems to be so short. I mean, why couldn't they structure it in a way that we worked for 2 days and had a weekend of 5 days? Is that so much to ask? Therefore, I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body, what you will put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap, nor gather into barns, and yet their heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not more of value than they? And which of you, by being anxious, can add a single hour to his span of life?